Now please bear with me while I paint you a picture here, because I want you to imagine you've just got home from a hard day at work, you've slipped into your lounge pants, you've sunk into your favourite seat and you've flipped open your DS to resume your Chrono Trigger journey. After about 30 minutes or so, you're in a heated battle with the Dark Tyrannus, or I believe that's what his name was, because as you'll hear as the story goes along, something interrupted me, and that something was the doorbell ringing. Unwillingly, of course, I did get up, opened the door, only to be greeted with this, which I'll bring up now, and that is this box here. Now, it might not look that remarkable to you, but this box here has come all the way from Indianapolis in the United States of America, and well, I didn't order anything from Indianapolis in the United States of America, but it also says that it's come from a very special person by the name of Fresh, and you might know him from a Co-ople of Nerds, and if you don't, well, we're going to find out what Fresh and possibly Mary have sent me from Indianapolis in the USA over here to Scotland right after these. Now, it has been quite a while since I've done any kind of unboxing on the channel, but when this came all the way from Indianapolis, courtesy of Fresh, possibly Mary too, I had to commit it to camera. There was no way I was just going to open this up on my own and not share it with you. Now, I don't know what's inside this box. It's not something that I asked for. It's not something that Fresh has even said was coming. It was quite a surprise. Now also, if you know the channel, you know when I do my unboxings, I don't like to just do a standard unboxing, and I'll probably throw in some b-roll here so you can understand what I mean. But today the katana is not coming off the wall. Instead, I'm going to be using a completely different weapon from the arsenal, and it's one that probably Jay from Square Pegs will appreciate, because I'm going to be using Sting, and Sting will be opening this box today. And let's get into it right now. And as you can hear, Sting is quite sharp, so I will put it down and open this box and see what's inside. Now, first things first, there's a note, and I'm going to have a quick look at this note. And it's more of a novel than a note, so thank you very much for that, Fresh. And let's just have a read. Generation Pixel, aka Stuart, I hope this letter and package find you well. I also hope the surprise was not ruined by anyone. It was quite the task finding your address. I asked a lot of people. It seems that not too many channels send across the pond. I am sure once I get to the post office I will understand why. Shipping is crazy expensive, so I request you not send anything back in return. I have rambled on long enough. What's in the box? I know with 100% certainty you own this game. In fact, I know you own at least 2 copies of this game. Why send a third copy? This is a special copy, a premium edition. Additionally, it's autographed by the voice talent in the game on the steelbook. I was hunting for a copy of this game based on your recommendation when I discovered this beauty. I purchased it right away without hesitation. Once I got home, I quickly realised it was not destined for my game room, but a dear friend's. You have always been a close friend, and we cherish that friendship. And I know you will cherish this item. I'll find another copy of this game, but I won't find another brother quite like you. Stay fresh, and Mary, Co-ople of Nerds. Well, that is a lovely letter and lovely sentiment from Fresh and Mary, but now I'm really curious as to what's in the box, because I do have multiples of some games back here, games that I love that I'll have them in multiple systems or throughout multiple generations. So let's just see what it is that's came along. It's a double of a game that I have, and let's remove the important things first, and that of course is the packaging in bubble wrap. And no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save my mic for what's coming up next. And more bubble wrap. So well packed. Oh, something else. Okay, the first thing that's popped out of the box, and this is quite handy because this is something that I might be using quite soon. I have a dust sleeve a Co-ople of Nerds Dust sleeve for a NES cartridge, and that will definitely home the first NES cartridge that I buy, and hopefully that won't be too long from now. So next, reaching into the box, and I can see it already, and this is remarkable, and I'm kind of lost for words at the moment, because what he sent is this here, the Persona 5 Premium Edition, and I'm speechless. Fresh, Mary, speechless. Thank you very much for this, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut to some other footage as I try to compose myself, and let's have a proper look at what's in this box. And thank you again, Fresh and Mary, this is absolutely wonderful, and I will be trying to find out who leaked the address. So let's go and see what's inside this box now. And again, I'm going to have to state that I'm absolutely speechless at the generosity that Fresh and Mary have shown sending me this particular game. Or should I say the Take Your Heart Premium Edition of this particular game. Now, if this is your first time to the channel, or if you're fairly new to the channel, you probably don't understand just how much Persona 5 means to me. But as a huge fan of JRPGs ever since 1997, when I first got my hands on Final Fantasy VII, I had personally felt that the genre was starting to slip away from the fan base. Now, of course, there are still some great examples of JRPGs still being made today, but right up until I discovered Persona 5, I really thought that the genre was dying out. And don't get me wrong, I still think it's on life support at the moment, and if you take a look at Final Fantasy 16, I'm sure a few of you out there might agree with me. But Persona 5 came along, completely blew me away, and it's one of the games that I've talked most about on YouTube. Well, obviously Final Fantasy 7 and Suikoden 2 are the games that I've talked about most, but when it comes to modern games in the genre, then it's Persona 5 and Yakuza Like a Dragon, and that's about it. And as Fresh and Mary said in the wonderful note that they sent along with this, yes, I already have this game on the PlayStation 4 and Persona 5 Royal on the PlayStation 5, and that's not even to mention that I will be looking for the PlayStation 3 release of this game as soon as I find it in a standard that I'm happy with. But special editions like this one here is something that I don't tend to look at too much because I would want to buy it, but spaces are premium and I tend to shy away from them. So this wonderful Take Your Heart Premium Edition will sit in my collection and it will look stunning. It already looks stunning, you can see it right there. And I'm trying not to waffle on too much, so we will cut now and have a look at what's inside this premium edition, because I don't know about you, but me personally, I can't wait to get my hands on the goodness that's inside this box. But of course we can't see what's inside the box until we open it, so let's get this sleeve off and see what we have beyond. Now, this is absolutely stunning, and this is probably how I'm going to display this particular game. It has all the characters in it from the game, and it's got all their personas as well. That's lovely. Let's sit that down there because a box is just a box, and we'll open up and see what we get inside. Now, automatically my eyes are drawn to this particular little eye down here, the wonderful Mona, and this is a lovely little plush. And I don't have a lot of plushies myself, but obviously it's a Persona plush. I don't know whether I would want to keep this in the box out of sight or sit it up with the rest of the shelf guardians. And you know what, I think it's a no-brainer for me. I'm definitely going to be sitting Mona up on the shelves where he can look after one of the shelves of games that I've got up there with some of the other shelf guardians that are up there. Now, I don't know who I'll pair Mona with up in the shelves, but I'm sure I'll work it out. But that's Mona, a lovely little plush. And yes, I'm quite ecstatic about that, even though I'm not that into plushies. Now, next up we have a Shujin Academy school bag, and that's a decent bag as well. And will I use it? I will most definitely use this, and look at that, they must have known, of course, it's a Shujin tartan. But being Scottish, of course, I do have an affinity for tartan myself, but I will be proud to wear this out and about while I'm game hunting in Glasgow. So the Shujin Academy bag as well inside the collection and alongside Mona. Next up, of course we've got a soundtrack, because what good collector's edition doesn't have a soundtrack? And I will sit and listen to this one. And of course, if you've watched any of my videos before, you know most of the time in the background you will hear a little of Persona 5 soundtrack playing along in the background. And it's not just Persona 5, because once I'd experienced Persona 5 I did dive into the other games, the games that came before, and I've absolutely loved them as well. And it's not just Persona 5, because once I'd experienced Persona 5 I did dive into the other games, the games that came before, and I've absolutely loved them as well. P5 will forever be my favourite, because it was the one that introduced me to the game, or the whole series of games, and I absolutely love the music that comes along with this. So that's a wonderful soundtrack there, comes along in that collector's edition, and I'm looking forward to sitting down and just chilling and listening to that. Next up, of course, we have the game itself. It is in this wonderful steelbook, and as said in the note, it has been signed by some of the creators that were involved with the game, and that's a special touch as well. Now, of course, an interesting thing for me is the ERSB rating, because we don't get ERSB over here, we get the Pan-European Gaming Information ratings, but over in America, as you can see, you get the wonderful ERSB, and it says M for mature, which means you have to be mature to play this game, which is much better than when you get it in the PAL regions, because that will just say 18. And I don't know about you, but when I was 18 I wasn't mature, and now that I'm 50 I'm also still not mature. But I'll have to be to play this game now. So that's the game. Wonderful steelbook, signed by some of the creative talent in the game, and that's a lovely piece as well. Now, last but not least, we have Persona 5 art book, the aesthetics, and yeah, I'm going to be looking forward to having a proper look at this as well. And I'll probably, of course, throw in some b-roll for you all to see some of the wonderful pieces of art. And even just flipping through this book just now is making me absolutely itch to dive back into the game and play it through again. And if you're out there thinking that's not unusual, looking at the art book, thinking about playing the game again, you have to take into consideration right at the start of the year, the first game that I completed was Persona 5, and then I went back to back and completed Persona 5 Royal. Not only completed, I got the Platinum Trophy for Persona 5 Royal straight after completing Persona 5. So as you can see, I'm a bit crazy when it comes to this game, but you know what, it's a good kind of crazy. So there we go, we have all the items here, and I'll display them as best I can on this table. We have the art book, which is lovely. We have the awesome plushie Mona. We have a soundtrack. We have the steelbook, and you stay up, Mona, you just need to behave. And of course, the wonderful Shujin Academy school bag that I will be using to go game hunting. But once again, and for the last time, thank you very much Fresh, thank you very much Mary for sending me this wonderful gift. It's way too much, and if you don't think I'll get you back at some point in the future, then you're very much mistaken, because unlike you, I won't have to hunt for your address because I already have it now. So everyone, thank you very much for watching this video, coming along in this little journey with me, a journey where some fantastic people have sent me a fantastic gift for no reason whatsoever, and left one very gobby Scotsman utterly speechless, or almost utterly speechless, which is quite an impressive feat. So thank you again for watching, and until next time, as always, cheerio.